Let us start. Dear all, am I audible? Gautam, Hanmant, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gautam, am I audible? Somnath,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
we are assembled online here today for the PhD Open Defense Online Viva of Somnath Raut. He has worked on the topic Economic Analysis of Cattle Markets in Solapur District. He has carried out his research for doctoral degree under the guidance of Professor Hanuman Katre, who is working in Rajaram College, which is government college. Previously, also he has worked as joint director of Kolhapur division. So far as external referee is concerned, we have Professor G.S. Kamble, School of Social Sciences, Punyashlok Ahilabai Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur. On behalf of Shivaji University, on behalf of Department of Economics, on behalf of officials and authorities of the Shivaji University, I extend a very warm welcome to one and all. So far as today's Viva is concerned, his thesis has been examined by in all three examiners or referees. One was internal referee, Professor Katre. External referee first was Professor G.S. Kamble, Solapur. And one more external referee was Dr. Kiran Kumar from Rani Chennamma University, Belgavi, Karnataka. So far as today's Viva is concerned, first of all, in 20 to 25 minutes, today's researcher, Somnath, he will present an abstract or summary of the thesis which he submitted to the Shivaji University. Later on, his research will be opened for open discussion to the floor. Participants can ask questions, can comment and also raise queries. Participants are requested, they can ask questions or raise queries. They can send through chat box or directly also they can pose. After that, external referee who is present for today's Viva, Professor G.S. Kamble, who is Director of School of Social Sciences, Ahilabai Holkar, Solapur University. He will place before us his observations, comments, and if necessary, he will also pose questions. Another referee was Dr. Kiran Kumar from Rani Chennamma University. He has also asked some questions. If necessary, if those are not repeated, those questions will be also posed before Somnath. If I want to ask any questions, I will also pose, and later on at the end of the questions, those are answered by Somnath, defended by Somnath. His guide, Professor Hanuman Katre, he will propose vote of thanks. So once again on behalf of the university, once again on behalf of the Department of Economics, I extend a very warm welcome to one and all. And as already I have mentioned, the Viva will be in 20-25 minutes. Somnath will present summary of his thesis. I also extend my colleague and head of the Department of Economics, Professor Katti Madam, who has joined recently. I extend a very warm welcome to one and all, my department, my colleague, head of the department, Professor Katti Madam, external referee, Professor G.S. Kamble, Solapur University. And thus in 20 minutes, he will present summary and questions will be asked by the participants. The external referee will present observations. If questions are asked by another referee, Kiran Kumar, those will be posed to Somnath. And lastly, I will made an announcement about the submission of the today's Viva report to the university University Office. And lastly, Professor H.N. Katre, Hanuman Katre will propose vote of thanks. May I call upon Somnath to present his abstract of the thesis which he has submitted. Once again, I am very much thankful, and I extend a very warm welcome to one and all. Over to you, Somnath. You can share your presentation, Somnath, in 20 minutes, maximum 25 you have to finish. Somnath, listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Share your presentation.
Yes, sir.
20, maximum 25 minutes.
Good evening, all of you. And before presenting my research work, I would like welcome to today's respected chairman, Honorable Professor Dr. P.S. Kamble sir, respected referee, Honorable Professor Dr. G.S. Kamble sir, respected research guide, Honorable Professor Dr. H.N. Katre sir, and head of the department, Professor Dr. V.P. Katte madam sir, Katte madam. All respected teacher and my dear friends, I am Somnath Pandit Raut. I am here to presenting PhD research work under title Economic Analysis of Cattle Market in Solapur District. Now will I briefly introduction about my research work. We know that is the largest livestock population, which is over 37.28% of cattle, 21.23% of buffalo, 26.14 40 of goats, and 12.17% of sheep in the world, and also first position in the livestock production. The present study overview of growth and export dimension of livestock sector in Indian, particularly cattle marketing. The agriculture sector is the contributor more than 17% in national income. Livestock of Indian makes a helpful contribution up to national income. Agriculture and livestock is correlated to each other as per the report of livestock. This sector contributed 6.8% in GDP of Indian economy. The contributor of livestock subsector of agriculture has been rapidly increased from last 4 decades, which is 15% of the GDP. Research has found that some problems of challenges in cattle market. According to the researcher, formulate this statement of problem: the most income covered, the most income covered from the cattle market production, agriculture production, and self-employment groups. Due to the irregular operating problems arise to cattle, such as cattle health and potential of cattle marketing were closely attached to rural economy, which has included some of thinking as per agro-based industry, and it was run through this cattle market. Cattle marketing are facing so many issues regarding transportation, health of cattle marketing channels, brokers, fodder, irregular rain, climate, marketing process, cold storage for dairy products, government policies, etc. These problems are production, marketing of cattle irregular in market, etc. Marketing is inconstantly better in technique to join to consumer and producer. Cattle marketing is one of them. This problem can be covered through the present topic of the study is economic analysis of cattle market in Solapur district. This research is unfolding the waste methods and techniques used in cattle markets. In cattle markets, rise new methods, techniques are responsible for this, for the success, and responsible for the farmers' social economic upliftment. Research formulated 5 major research objective of the study. First, today to study economic analysis of cattle marketing in Solapur district, to study the market channel of cattle market centers in selected research area, to examine the factors affecting upon the price of cattle in selected research area, to find out the problems of cattle market in selected research area to suggest viable suggestion for the development of cattle and cattle market centers. Moreover, researchers from these three major hypotheses of the making good and right way research. Uh, first null hypothesis, there are no used unethical practice in cattle market. Alternative hypothesis, there are used unethical practice in cattle markets. Second hypothesis, null hypothesis, there is no different factors used for price determination process of cattle in the different of cattle market. Alternative hypothesis, there is different factors used for price determination process of the cattle in the different cattle market. Third hypothesis, null hypothesis, there are no similar problems faced by seller in the cattle markets. Null alternative hypothesis, there are similar problems faced by seller in the cattle markets. Researcher has used analytical research methodology for present research work, used the primary data as well as secondary data in the present research study. In this research study, researcher has collected primary data through the questionnaire, personal interview, and observation method. Researcher has prepared structure questionnaire for collection of the primary data. Researcher has also used the secondary data, which was collected through the socio-economic review report, district economic and statistical handbook, FMC report, statistical report on Indian economy, and economic survey of Maharashtra study period. The study period has been confined to 2005 to 6 and 2014 to 15 for secondary data. Primary data has been collected to 2019 to 20 in selected research area. Research has used empirical method for present research work, because the researcher has collected facts from primary level and attempted to the test above hypothesis. It is also used analytical research method in which the researcher has analyzed collected facts and figures. The researcher has used some important statistical tools and techniques like CGR, SGR, chi-square test, percentage, etc. Sample method. In this research study, researcher has used the probability and non-probability sampling method. Researcher has used the stratified sampling method and purposive sampling method for selection of the samples in present research study. Look at this table number 1. Researcher has collected primary data and information from Solapur district. Solapur district is a more major research area. Research got following statistical information of weekly cattle market of Solapur district. Hence, here researcher has focused on the tehsil-wise distribution of cattle market centers in selected research area. Research has observed that there were 26 weekly markets, 1 triennial markets, 9 annual markets. There were total number of 36 market center in Solapur district. This slide shows that actual sample selection present study. Researcher has purposely selected four cattle market from 4 sub-administrative division, namely Mada, Pandharpur, Malshiras, and Solapur. Researcher has selected one major cattle market from each subdivision of selected research area, such as Mada, Sangola, Barshi, and Malshiras Tehsil. Moreover, sample size of 600 purposely selected from different respondent group with the discussion with the research expert in marketing and management. Researcher has selected 600 respondents, of which 300 respondents were sellers, 100 brokers, and 200 traders. My research study importance and significant is this study evaluate the role importance of cattle marketing drought prone area of the Solapur district, the most income Solapur district area most income covered cattle is milk production, agriculture production, and self-employment group due to irregular of rain problems rise to cattle such as cattle health and potentials of cattle marketing are the most important sub business in any economy, and Solapur district is no expansion. It is plays a significant role in the rural economy to develop them. The present study is limited to the Solapur district only. My research limitation are first, present study result is applicable for study area. The time period of study is 10 years only. The present study is concentrate only cattle market. The research investigation has only highlighted on cow, bull, buffalo, goat, and sheep in selected research area. Researcher has totally research following the 6th chapter. First, introduction and research methodology. Second, review of literature. Third, profile of cattle market, Solapur district. Fourth, marketing channels and price determination of the cattle market. Fifth chapter, data analysis and interpretation. Sixth chapter, major conclusion and important suggestion. Research has used following the different parameter from economic analysis of cattle marketing. These parameters are first one, transport cost, infrastructure cost, medicine cost, feeding cost, labor cost, transportation cost of the cattle, margin from cattle market. Research has focused around the transaction of the cow in select research area. In case of the Barshi, Marcirus, Thahsil, maximum percent of selected respondents were made there. Transaction of the cow below 50,000. In case of the Mada Thahsil, maximum percent of selected respondents were made there. Transaction of the cow in between 50,001 to 1 lakh. In case of the Sangola Thahsil, maximum percent of selected response were made a transaction of the cow above 2,50,000 in selected research area. Researcher has focused on transaction of the bull in selected research area. In case of the Barshi, Marcirus, Mada, Thahsil, maximum percent of selected respondents were made there. Transaction of the bull in between 1 lakh to 2 lakh in selected research area. In case of the Sangola Thahsil, maximum percentage of selected respondents were made there. Transaction of the bull 3 lakh 1 to 4 lakh in selected research area. Research has focused around transaction of the buffalo in selected research area. In case of the Barshi Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made there. Transaction of the buffalo below 50,000. In case of the Marcirus and Mada Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made transaction of buffalo 50,001 in between 50,000 to 1 lakh. And Sangola, in case of the Sangola Thahsil, maximum percentage of selected respondents were made there. Transaction of the buffalo above 3 lakh in selected research area. Researcher has focused on the transaction of goat and sheep in selected research area. In case of the Barshi, Marcirus, Mada, Sangola, Thahsil, maximum respondents percentage selected respondents were made there below 50,000 in selected research area. Researcher has focused on infrastructure cost in selected research area. In case of the Barshi and Sangola, Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected respondents were made there. In case of the Machiras and Mada Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected respondents were made there. Infrastructure cost in between 1 lakh to 2 lakh in selected research area. Researcher has focused on the medicine cost in selected research area. In case of the Barshi, Malsiras, Mada, and Sangola Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made there. Medicine cost below 50,000 in selected research area. Researcher has focused on the feeding cost in selected research area. In case of the Barshi, Malsiras, and Sangola Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made there. Feeding cost below 1 lakh. In case of the Mada Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made there. Feeding cost 1 lakh, in between 1 lakh 1 to 2 lakh in selected research area. Researcher has focused on the labor cost in selected research area. In case of the Barshi Tahsil, maximum percent of selected responses were made there. Labor cost below in between 50,000 to 1 lakh. In case of the Malsiras, Mada, and Sangola Tahsil, maximum percent of selected response were made there. Labor cost in between 1 lakh to 1 lakh 1 to 1 lakh 50,000 in selected research area. Researcher has focused on transportation cost of cattle in selected research area. In case of the Barshi, Malsiras, Mada Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made there. Transportation cost in between 20,000 to 30,000 in selected research area. In case of the Sangola Tahsil, maximum percent of selected respondents were made there. Transaction of the cost above 30,000 in selected research area. Researcher has focused on the margin of cattles in selected research area. In case of the Barshi, Malsiras, Mada, and Sangola Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made there. Margin in cow, bull, buffalo, in between 10,000 to 20,000 in selected research area. A researcher has focused on sheep and goat margin in selected research area. In case of the Barshi, Malsiras, Mada, and Sangola Tahsil, maximum percentage of selected response were made there. Sheep and goat margin below 5,000 in selected research area. Research has observed that there were have several selected cattle-wise marketing channel in selected investigation area. Research has observed these marketing channel in cow and bull. First channel is seller to buyer. Second channel seller to broker, broker to buyer. Third channel seller to trader, trader to buyer. Fourth channel seller to trader, trader to broker, broker to buyer. Fifth channel seller to butcher, store trader. Sixth channel seller to trader, trader to butcher, store in selected research area. Research has focused on the market channel of the buffalo. First channel seller to buyer. Second channel seller to broker, broker to buyer. Third channel seller to trader, trader to buyer. Fourth channel seller to broker, broker to trader, trader to buyer. Fifth channel seller to trader, trader to broker, broker to buyer. Sixth channel seller to trader, trader to butcher, store trader in selected research area. Researcher has observed these marketing channel of the goat. First channel seller to buyer, second channel seller to broker, broker to buyer, third channel seller to butcher, fourth channel seller to local trader to butcher, fifth channel seller to local trader to buyer, sixth channel seller to local trader to distance trader, seventh channel seller to distance trader to butcher, 8 number channel seller to distance trader to buyer in selected research area. Researcher has observed this marketing channel of SIP. First channel seller to buyer, second channel seller to broker, broker to buyer, third channel seller to butcher, fourth channel seller to trader, fifth channel seller to trader, trader to buyer, sixth channel seller to trader, trader to butcher, uh, seventh channel seller to broker, broker to butcher in selected research area. Research has focused on the various factors which are determining the price of the cow. Research has found that maximum percent of selected respondents from Mada, Myceres, and Sangola Tehsil were agreed with price of the cow is determine the non-harness and other related issue in selected research area. Research has found that 100% of selected respondents from Barshi, Myceres, Mada, and Sangola Tehsil maximum were agreed with price of bull is determined by category, teeth, horns, physique, dot, age, health, and color in selected research area. Researcher has focused around the various factors which are determining the price of the buffalo. Research has found that 100% of selected respondents from Barshi, Myceres, Mada, and Sangola Tehsil were agreed with the price of buffalo is determined by category, calving, teeth, horns, physique, dot, age, health, breast size, and color in selected research area. A has found that researcher has found that maximum percentage of selected respondents from the Barshi, Myceres, Mada, and Sangola Tehsil were agreed with the price goat and sheep determined by category, calving, teeth, horns, physique, dot, age, health, breast size, and color in selected research area. Research has focused on problem of sellers. Maximum percent of selected respondents from the Barshi, Myceres, Mada, and Sangola Tehsil were found various problems such as inadequate water, fodder, and shelter, parking problems, fluctuation and transaction, and harassment from the brokers in selected research area. Research has focused on problem of brokers. Maximum percent of selected respondents from Barsi and Myceres Tehsil were found various problems such as grouping of non-registered brokers are found, pressure from the seller and predetermination commission is not getting sometimes. In case of the Mada and Sangola Tehsil, maximum percentage of selected respondents were found various problems such as grouping of non-registered brokers are found and pressure from the sellers. A researcher has focused on the problem of purchaser. Maximum percent of selected respondents from the Barshi Tehsil were found various problems such as lack of parking facility, lack of drinking water facility, inadequate cattle center facility, and inadequate credit facility. In case of the Myceres, Mada, and Sangola Tehsil, were found various problems such as lack of the parking facility and lack of drinking water facility in selected research area. Uh, a researcher has formed hypothesis null is there are no used unethical practice in cattle markets. Alternative hypothesis there are used unethical practice in cattle market. For hypothesis testing, a researcher has collected relevant data from 100 respondents of brokers. Following cross table shows that broker are used listed coding language means unethical practice. When a researcher had asked used unethical practice in cattle market that time, answer got out 100. 89 brokers were used coding language means unethical practice in cattle selling and purchasing. In conclusion, unethical practice are carrying cattle marketing. A researcher drawn statistical inference regard hypothesis from conducting chi-square test. In this chi-square test, p-value showing 0.00 less than 0.005 along with the Pearson chi-square value is 70.1 at 786, which agreed the table chi-square value of 7.815. In this condition, researcher can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis, which says that unethical practice are happening cattle market of research study area. A researcher has formulated a second hypothesis. Null hypothesis is uh, there is no different factors are used for price determination process of the cattle in the different cattle market. Alternative hypothesis, there is different factors are used for price determination process of the cattle in the different cattle market. For this hypothesis, research has collected primary data from 300 sellers of cattle market. Cross table shows that following the listed determined are taken into the consideration of for price determination of cattle in the market. A researcher has observed that out of 300 respondents considered first group, the price determination for purchasing and selling of females cattle, and a third group of used for male cattle. Researcher has used chi-square test for second hypothesis. Result shows p-value 0.00 is less than 0.05. In this condition, researcher can accept the alternative hypothesis. Researcher formulated hypothesis regarding seller problem in cattle market. For that, researcher has collected primary data from 300 sellers of cattle market. Cross table shows that following problems are facing by sellers in selected study area. Following third number problem group is majorly facing to the selling in all tehsils. Result shows that p-value 0.140 is more than the 0.05% significant level. Hence, research can accept the null hypothesis. In conclusion, there were several problems are faced by seller in selected cattle market. Researcher noted following the major finding seller. In this research investigation, maximum percent of purchase or annual purchasing cost of cow in between of the 50,000 to 1 lakh in selected research area during the period of time. In case of buffalo, highest percentage of percentage of purchaser are annual purchasing cost of buffalo below in the 50,000 in selected research area during the period of time. In case of the buffalo, highest percentage of purchaser are annual purchasing cost of the below than 50,000 in selected research area during the period of time. In case of the goat and sheep, highest percentage of the purchaser are shows annual purchasing cost of the goat and sheep above the 40,000 in select research area the period of time. In case of the research study, maximum percent of selected for live feeding cost of cattle was below 1 lakh in selected research area. In case of the medicine cost, maximum percent of respondents medicine cost of cattle was below 50,000 in selected research area during the period of time. In this research study, highest percent of respondents infrastructure cost of the cattle in below 1 lakh in the select research area. This study found highest percent of respondents labor cost cattle in the between in between 1 lakh to 1 lakh 50,000 in select research area during the period of time. In this research study, research has found that major reason behind the selling of cattle in the market, namely economic problem and drought condition in the selected research area. Price of horn and non-horn cattle are determined by their categories: calving, teeth, physical age, health, breast size, and color, as well as nature calamities like drought and broker in the selected research area during the period of time. Research has found different cattle marketing channel in got market, as per to cow, bull, buffalo, and sheep. Uh, it has found that maximum number of the killer cattle, 98.001%, are found that in select research area compared to Gaurav, Devni, Gir, Lal, Khandari, and Dange in the chosen period of time. In this research study, researcher has found maximum percent of Holstein Friesian Jersey. It is called HF Jersey, 70.55% in local breed cattle population in select research area. In this research study, maximum percentage of Pandharpuri buffalo, 86.98, are found in total local breed of buffalo. In case of the sheep population, maximum number of Deccan sheep breed, 97.51%, are found out of the all other types of breed of sheep. Through the researcher investigation, researcher has found maximum percent of Usmanabadi goat breed, 99.58, among the all other available breed and goat in selected research area. Selected has observed that different sign and different language in the cattle market. For example, Sarya 1 rupees, Asar 10 rupees, Sikra 100 rupees, Savar 1000 rupees, and Asar token 10,000 rupees, and Petty 1 lakh rupees. A researcher has also found that brokerage of selling of cattle market are affecting the price of the cattle in selected research area in given period of time. Major finding of related to brokers. This study has focused on the gender-wise classification of brokers in selected research area. Marcellus Thursil was one of the Thursil where researcher has found that female brokers. Researcher has found that maximum number of respondents were registered in cattle market in selected research area. Researcher has observed that majority of the brokers prepare to Sangola cattle market in the selected research area. Researcher has observed that majority brokers have given priority to group of cow, bull, and buffalo in the selected research area. In this research study, research has found that majority of respondents were taken brokerage from seller and purchaser in select research area. Research has found that various problem brokers such as commission group of non-registered brokers pressure from the seller and predetermination in selected research area while research study. A major finding of the related to purchaser. Researcher has found that purchaser have given more priority to purchase goat, sheep, and followed by bull, cow, and buffaloes from the cattle market in selected research area. Researcher has initiated the majority of the purchaser have preferred to buy 2-year-old animal from the cattle market in selected research area at the given time. In this research study, researcher has found that majority of the purchaser have given priority to buy 2 cattle from the market in the selected research area. A majority of the purchaser have prepared to buy female cattle in selected research area. In this research study, researcher has found that majority of the purchaser have prepared to second teeth cattle from market in selected research area. Majority of the purchaser have The source of finance is a self-saving and cooperative institute from nearby place in the selected research area. In this research study, researcher has found that there was levied tax on the purchaser of cattle from the cattle market. Various components in the levied tax of purchasing of cattle, such as supervision cost, market fee, and registration fee, in selected research area at the given period of time. Problems of the cattle market divided on the basis seller, brokers, and purchaser. Researcher has found various problems related to sellers, such as inadequate water, fodder, now shelter, parking, fluctuation in transaction, and harassment of from brokers in selected investigation area. Various problems related to brokers, that are grouping of non-registered brokers, pressure from the seller, and doesn't get predetermination commission. Problems related to purchaser are lack of parking, absence of drinking water, inadequate shelter facilities, and inadequate credit facility in selected investigation area.
Somnath, in 5 minutes, wind up.
Suggestion.
Somnath, in 5 minutes, finish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To establish the research suggestion, my suggestion, to establish research and development center under the each local market committee, the district of the district, unregistered brokers should not allowed in market. Police protection must be at the cattle market. The market committee should provide a shelter, drinking water, accommodation, sanitation, bathroom, fodder, and parking in the cattle market. The veterinary doctor should be available drinking what drink during the cattle market timing for the emergency purpose through the market committees. Concluding remarks. Researcher has concluded that maximum number of the cow, goat, buffalo, bull, and sheep were arrived and sales. Sangora Tehsil is compared to other selected Tehsil during the study period. In case of the sub-market, maximum number of cow, bull, buffalo, and sheep were arrived at Akluz as compared to other sub-market in selected investigation area. There were maximum number cow, goat, buffalo, bull, and sheep were sold at Akluz submarket as compared to other selected submarket in selected research area. Research has concluded that price of cattle were determined by horns, non-horn category, calving tree, physical age, health, breast size, and color in selected investigation area. Natural calamities and brokers are also affecting upon the price of cattle in the market. They are using the coding and figure using at the time of deal of cattle in cattle market. Researcher has concluded that various kinds of problems were found in the cattle market, such as inadequate water, fodder, shelter, parking problems, fluctuation in the transaction of the lack of water facility, credit facility, grouping of non-registered brokers, pressure from the seller, and not get predetermination commission, and harassment from the brokers in cattle market. Scope of the further research. The present research will help every segment of the livestock market to understand the market comprehensively. This is because the foresight of what problems the seller, buyer, and brokers will face in the cattle market. In the same way, important information can be gleaned from this research on what changes the animal market committees will have to make in its tax structure with the changing times. This research will be beneficial if the government wants to have a policy on livestock in the future, implements a welfare scheme for farmer. Therefore, this research will be of particular importance for future policy making in the Indian cattle market.
Okay, but Somnath,
Thank you,
stop
sir.
now. Stop sharing. Stop
Yes.
sharing now. And dear participants and faculty, now his research is open for discussion. You can comment, you can raise queries and also ask questions. All questions are invited, comments are invited, queries are expected to be posed. His research is made open for discussion. Somnath, stop that sharing. Stop sharing.
Yes, sir.
Anybody wants to ask any question, any comment, any query, most welcome.
Stop.
Either you can post in chat, write in chat box, or also you can start mic and you can ask question also directly. Anybody wants to ask any question, any comment?
Somnath,
Yes, go ahead.
I want to ask one or two questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Am I audible to you, Somnath?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Somnath, you have taken sample of respondents, traders, brokers. So that is 75 from each group, 75 from one group, 25 from one group.
Ah.
So what is the method you have used to select the brokers, traders, customers?
Um, yes, ma'am. He used a stratified random sampling method.
Then while getting the number of 75,
I have Tata Thrasill-wise seller for Thrasill, Sangola, Malsiras, Mad and Barshi Thrasill.
you have selected 75 from each taluka, isn't it?
Yes,
While
ma'am.
selecting the customers or traders, whoever may be, that is 75, selecting 75, you have used a random sample method. But how you have decided it should be 75? How you have decided it should be 25?
Uh,
Somnath,
Is
what
it
is
based
your
on percentage or quota system?
Purposely selected
Hmm?
sample purposely selected.
Somnath, two questions are there which sampling method I use and have you justified sample size? Two questions are there. Did you understand which sampling method you use and have you justified sample size? Did you understand question?
Yes, sir.
How have you justified sample size? And which sampling once you are saying random sampling, in another you are saying purposive. So which actual sample method you used and have you justified sample size?
I have used a stratified random sampling and a purposive sampling method, sir.
No, stratified and purposive cannot go together. Those are different. Do you know what is precondition of using stratified sampling? When you can make use of stratified sampling? Both cannot go. Both are different. One is random, another is non-random. Do you know
Uh,
that? Have you justified sample size? Okay, think over that. Think over that. Important questions relating to methodology.
So what is the difference between trader and broker here in your study?
Brokers only broker both are role purchase and trade selling and purchaser.
So when both are doing same function, then why you have named differently?
No, madam. Brokers means which this role seller and traders.
Both are performing same function. Na?
Somnath, it is called as
No,
agent.
seller.
It is known as agent, and he is the middleman between that purchaser and seller. That is different.
Seller, yes, sir.
It is known as agent. Broker is a agent.
Broker is agent. Seller is only cattle only selling, and traders is a role of the in cattle market only purchaser.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Any more question? Any more comment? Queries?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir, I
go
have one
ahead.
question.
Rupesh, who wants to? Rupesh?
Nice presentation, Somnath, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
May I
go
audible,
ahead,
sir?
Rupesh, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, Somnath, sir, which parameter did you use for the determination of the price of the cattle in the selected research area? Which parameter did you use for the determination of price of cattle in your research area?
Difference price determination of the parameters. Cow is majorly a non-harness and other related issue. Other related issues means category, valuing, teeth, physical dot and age, health, breast size, and bull cattle category, teeth, harness, physical dot, age, health, and color. Usually buffalo price determination category, calving, teeth, harness, physical dot, age, health, breast size, and color. And goat and sheep category calving majorly price determination category calving, teeth, horns, physical dot, age, health, breast size, only female, and color.
Okay.
Any more question? Any more question?
Sir, sir,
Yes.
I have also one more question.
Yes,
So,
go ahead. Go ahead. Somnath, go
Somnath, sir,
ahead. Rupesh, go ahead.
you have studied about the marketing channel regarding to the cow, bull, buffalo, goat, and sheep. Okay. So, is there having any difference in a marketing channel among the bull, buffalo, cow, sheep, and goat? Is there having any difference in the marketing channel?
Uh, yes. Uh, all cattle's channel is integrated, but different channel is of gold. Uh, saying that seller to local trader to buyer, and additional seller, additional channel seller to distance trader to butcher. Distance trader is additional in other compared to cattle.
Yes, any more question?
Yes, okay.
Anybody wants to?
Thank you so much, sir. Yes.
Any question? Anybody wants to ask? Somnath, I want to ask some questions. So, perhaps your thesis is concerned. Have you identified research gap after review of literature?
Uh,
Because that was not seen in the presentation.
yes, sir, the missing.
So, can you tell us?
Us. I'm not missing, sir.
Because in presentation it was not seen. It was there in the presentation.
Uh, Sir is not presentation saying.
Okay. Is it possible? Is it possible to tell us what research gap you have identified?
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell us in brief.
I have a research gap only. I am a searcher in a coding language and symbolic figures is a most research gap, sir.
Okay.
Unethical practice. Unethical practice use more than in cattle market.
Okay.
And effect on the cattle on the price effectively broker.
Okay. What was your sample size? Total
Uh,
sample size?
600.
600. As far as the testing of hypothesis is concerned, you used chi-square test. How you justify? Why you used chi-square instead of all others?
Chi-square test have used more variable factors.
Okay, okay. At a time, more than two variables are there.
Yes, yes, sir.
And even in testing, I didn't find the table value of that chi-square. Only you have taken into account that p-value. On the basis of that, whether it is proved or disproved, you have mentioned that. Why you didn't take into account table value of that chi-square table? Is it not necessary?
Mm,
Okay. Next is in your thesis, secondary data is not much.
sir, second data available 10 years
From
arrival.
what period have you covered for secondary data?
2005 to 6 and 2014-15. 10 years secondary
This
data.
is 23, no? At least it should be 21, 22. Update was required there. So far as secondary data is concerned, isn't it? And also quantitative applications are not seen. Any growth rate is there or any standard deviation is there, that is also not being seen.
I have used secondary data.
For secondary data analysis, you can use quantitative techniques. Compound growth rate can be there, standard deviation can be there, coefficient of variation can be there, but it is not seen there. Have you applied?
Yes, sir, applied. Yes, CJR, ACR applied.
Then standard deviation or coefficient of variation like that?
Like that, but I used only CJR and ACR.
Why both you have used CGR as well as SGR? What is the reason?
CJR has uh, mm, 10 years data available 2005 to 6 and 2014-15. 10
Okay.
years only gap is used CAGR.
So when we use SGR and when we use CGR, do you know in what circumstances or in which condition we can make use of CGR and SGR? What difference is there?
SGR used statistical serially available data. For example, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005.
It is time series data. And
Yes,
what about the SGR? Why you use the SGR? Data was not time series.
uh, some reports are available time series.
Okay.
And
Okay. Okay. So in the case of when the data was not time series, you used this SGR. Is it right?
yes,
And when data was time series, you have applied CGR. Is it correct? Is it
yes.
correct? Somnath?
CGR, SGR time series data user only. And time series data not available to that time used CHR.
Okay, okay. So any more question from participants who have joined for today's Viva? Anybody wants to ask? Otherwise, I shall proceed to external referee Professor Gautam. Anybody has a question to ask? Any more question? So it seems no question is there. So may I invite Professor Gautam to present his observations, and if any clarifications you want or any questions to be answered by Somnath you want, you can go. You can proceed further. Over to you, Gautam. Gautam, over
Am
to
I
you.
audible?
Yes, audible, audible. You are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Chairman of this Viva, Professor P.S. Kamble, sir. Head of the department, Dr. Katti Madam, Research Guide, Professor Katre sir, research students, and all those who are directly and indirectly participated and involved in this research work. Before I will give my observations, I will raise a few queries about the research work, and I'm directly asked to the Somnath. I
Yes,
think
go ahead, no problem. Go ahead, Gautam. Go ahead.
I've gone through the entire thesis, but after completion of this topic, there is no any references is not mentioned after the completion of this topic. Why? What is the reason behind this?
Somnath, for you, this question is for you. Somnath,
Yes, yes, sir.
why no references are there?
Research committees recommended all reference last. All reference.
No, you are not quoted any references in the text.
Somnath, references are different and bibliography is different. She's
Yes,
asking about references, not at the
Okay.
end of thesis. It is bibliography.
I'm asking about the references. So what
yes.
is the reason why you are not mentioned any single references? You are not mentioned in the after the completion of the topic. Is there any logical reason behind this?
A research committee recommends all chapter end of reference, all reference to last include.
I think research committee, I know the research committee from Shivaji University, that concerned department, all they are very well-known economists and researchers. I think they are not suggested like this, no?
Sorry, sir.
Because see, after second topic, no reference. After third topic, no references. After first topic, no references. No references you have mentioned in the after the completion of the topic. And even though you are not quoted that in the text also, which is a very simple and serious thing. I think you will take care of it from after the for your this research work or for your next research. Another thing is that what I have observed that the data which we have used in your research, which is not updated. So are you agree with this? Which data you have used in your research? It is not updated. It's not updated data.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agreed. Secondary data available 10 years ago.
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Somnath. Answer question asked.
Secondary data used 10 years. Not available reports, sir. Market committee.
If suppose this is the last 10 years data, then why you are not used growth rate analysis? You are not used that growth rate analysis in the or the time series analysis in the thesis. If the data is last 10 years, then why you are not used the time series analysis? Are you used time series analysis in the thesis?
Yes, sir.
Where you used, you tell me. The thesis is before me. On which page number? I think you are not used the time series data, time series analysis or growth rate analysis. What I have found. Anyway, you can consider all these important queries or the questions which are raised in the thesis. When you will submit or when you publish your thesis, you consider all these queries and questions, and that after that you will have to publish that this thesis in the book form. So yes, I think that's after this that there are some good things I have found in the thesis, which I will have to share with the panel. This research study has also concentrated on the various unethical practices going on the cattle markets in the selected investigation era. And also, I have found that the researcher, he has tried to mainly paid their focus on the economic analysis of cattle market in selected investigation area or in research area. And also he tried to find out some price determinants of cattle in the study area. So these are the good things which I have found in the thesis. I think that I have already recommended the thesis for the award. I think this research study has mainly focused on the economic analysis of cattle markets in Solapur district and concentrated on the different marketing channels of cattle market, the price determinants of cattle, and problems of cattle markets in Solapur district. The researcher has used tested some the hypothesis of research investigation. This research investigation has used appropriate statistical methods as per the requirement in the thesis. Even though that Somnath has got various signs and symbols using in the deals of cattle in the market, he tried to cover all the components used in the deals of cattle in the market, and the researcher has tried to cover all the helping hands, selling, purchase, price of cattle, chain of brokers, even though entry fees and all these things, which I think that all these are the details investigation I have found in this entire research work. With this, some words, I have stopped here, and I request to Professor Chairman Sir of this Viva, please proceed further things. Thank you.
Somnath, another excellent referee was Kiran Kumar from Rani Chennamma, Belgaum. He has asked some questions. A few questions I am placing before you. What is the why difference of price is there between bullock and cow? What reasons are responsible? Why the price of cow is different from that price of buffalo and ox as well? What are the reasons which are responsible for different prices? Have you analyzed in that direction? Why the price
Yes, sir.
difference is there across the animals?
Yes, sir. Cow is only use milk production, and Sangola, one of the Tehsil, Sangola, famous of the Khilar bull. Uh, and cows famous of are you available and more majority available HF Jersey, HF Jersey, and buffalo is majority of the Pandharpur buffalo.
Okay. One more question I am posing, which has been asked by him. Across the talukas also there is a difference in prices of cow, buffalo, and ox. What might be responsible causes?
Yes, sir. Sangola Tehsil, one of this is as compared to other Tehsil, Sangola's Tehsil came to a seller, other Tehsil, other district, different Tehsil, different district, different state. Sir.
But why prices are different across the different talukas, across the talukas? Price in Sangola is different and price in other talukas are different. What might be responsible causes for the same animals? That is what he asked the
Yes.
question.
Sangola Tehsil, Philippi majority other compared to Sangola Tehsil. Other Tehsil, Barshi, Maisiras, and Mada Tehsil. As in cattle market, very lowly came to seller, purchaser, and traders.
Okay. His last question is there a need for a broker in completing purchase and sale of these animals? Is there a need of broker? or
Sir,
is it affecting adversely?
yes, I'm telling about the purchaser and selling. That time he is committed. No need brokers. No need brokers, sir.
Okay, okay. May I call upon Professor Hanuman to propose vote of thanks, and after vote of thanks, I will make an announcement about the submission of report. Professor Hanuman, over to you for
Yes,
proposing
sir.
vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. I thank Honorable Chairperson of the Viva House Committee, Professor Dr. P.S. Kamble, sir, and external referee, Professor Dr. Gautam Kamble, for sparing their valuable time and conducting Viva House of Mr. Somnath Raut. I thank another external referee of Honorable Dr. Kiran Kumar, Rani Chennamma University, Belgavi, Karnataka. I thank head of the department economics, Professor Dr. Katti Madam. I thank all teaching, non-teaching staff of the Department of Economics, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I thank Shivaji University as well as PG BUTR staff and administrator. I thank all students, teachers, faculty for being present over here for open defense of this thesis submitted to the university by Somnath Raut. I thank all of. Thank you once again.
Okay. Now I want to make one announcement. So far as PhD thesis for Dr. Research submitted by Somnath Raut, it was examined by 3 examiners. One was Professor Hanumant as an internal examiner. 2 external examiners were there, Professor Gautam from Solapur University, Solapur, and another was Kiran Kumar from Rani Chennamma. All 3 experts have submitted their reports to the university, and they have recommended to accept thesis of Somnath. So far as today's YY is concerned, yes, Somnath tried his level best, but there is a space for presentation as well as defense. And whatever questions those were posed and whatever queries those were asked by my colleague Professor Katti Madam, as well as external referee Professor Gautam, and another external referee Kiran Kumar, necessary to be taken into account when you publish your thesis in the form of book. We as a committee for Somnath's Viva, even there is a space for improvement so far as presentation and defending the questions and queries those were posed. We recommend to the university authorities to accept thesis submitted by Somnath under the guidance of Professor Hanuman for the PhD degree in economics under the faculty of humanities. So let us congratulate both Hanumant as well as Somnath for successful this examination of Viva by Somnath and successful guidance of Professor Hanuman. Let us congratulate both of them.